Hey, all work, no pleasure. I ain't here to make friends, big stepper. Hey, bad guy, Heath Ledger. Ready for wherever, I'll be front and center. Don't fly too close to the sun, your body chopped up by propellers. Came in arrogant, but left out in a stretcher. The comparison, y'all know y'all couldn't replicate it. Chilling in the desert, I'm good under pressure. Stick around, let me hold it down, look at what we found.
Welcome to the official podcast of PHP Architect. Join us to listen to the latest news and tech talk from our conferences, the magazine, and wider PHP community.
Hey there, you're listening to the official podcast of the PHP Architect. This is episode 2024.03.27. I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and is with me, as always, is John Congdon. This podcast focus. Did you say anything? You froze. We can't hear you. Oh, wait, maybe it's me. Are you there? Oh, shit. I think it might be me. I'm going to keep talking and then I'll figure this out. This podcast focuses on all things PHP and web development. We also touch on the larger PHP community and the general life of being a developer. And of course, we'll talk about our company, PHP Architect, the magazine, and our wonderful, wonderful conference that is quickly approaching. We record every week on Thursday around 3 p.m. Pacific time. This podcast is made a little better thanks to our partners over at honeybadger.io. Honeybadger helps you deploy with confidence and be your team's DevOps hero by combining error, uptime, and performance monitoring in one simple platform. It's free to get started, and setup takes just a few minutes. Be the hero your team needs. Suit up at honeybadger.io. More on Honeybadger a little later. If you don't watch our live stream, you should probably do so. We do have people who listen to the audio version, and we've gotten some smoke about this, but I'm telling you, you want to watch the live stream. You miss out a little bit if you don't watch the live stream. You can catch us on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PHP Arch. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe and the bell and get all the notifications of all the things. And that's it, I think. You can join us in our Discord. Yes, don't forget our Discord. You can be part of our live show in our Discord at discord.phparch.com. And now let's get on to the show, since I'm in charge, because John doesn't know how to work technology. Are you with me yet, John? Nope, still not with me. Okay. So listen, it's John and I. It's like a parenting situation, right? Like, we run a company together, so it's imperative. It's important that we send out a unified message when sharing stuff with the public. So it's because of that, I want to make it clear that the reason we didn't have our show, we don't want to mention the reason we didn't have the show last week is because of John, and it basically it being his fault. We're just gonna be clear on that. It was a decision we both came to and believe. Oh, hey, John, you're here. How's it going?
You can hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I didn't do anything.
I don't know what to tell you. We can hear you.
I jumped over to the YouTube while you were doing the intro. I'm like, nope, it's not on your end. It's on my end.
Oh God, yeah. I don't know what it was. You're here now.
Man, I was spouting some gold too. What can I say?
It is the holiest of days, John. It is opening day in Major League Baseball.
I might have a game up in the corner.
I just want to let you know that I am not watching the Padres play
Lose
the
point of
Braves right
hero.
now. Yeah, not doing that's not on my iPad about this eye level right here. I'm totally focused on the show. Come on, damn it! I mean, good job. Good job, John. I just want to let you know that security is of the utmost importance here at PHP Architect, and as such, I have created a Signal group to share all of the upcoming columns. I wasn't positive of your address on Signal anymore, so I just added everybody, but it is completely secure, I assure you.
I don't know the reference. I know Signal.
I
I don't know.
swear to God, John, every now and then you have to watch the goddamn news. I swear to God, you make talking about current events very difficult on this goddamn show. Good God.
I agree. I need to. I just don't.
Are you really not get the Signal reference?
I do not.
Oh man.
Please enlighten me.
This is the problem with our country today. Well, I mean the notes, the cliff notes, is that what they were called? Cliff notes back in the day, right? Yeah. Is that apparently our current administration, in their utmost brilliance, we're sharing very sensitive wartime, not wartime, but yeah, wartime. I mean, they're dropping bombs basically on people in a Signal group that, so goofy us, who we invited a reporter to be a part of. And this happened. And watching them trip over themselves. Again, we try not to get in politics, but God damn it, when they do stuff like this and they're in our wheelhouse, you can't not talk about it. They're seriously sitting there talking about, oh yeah, I don't know who added him, but yeah, somebody, he got, but it's okay. We weren't really talking about classified information, and the committee that they were being, imposed to is like, okay, if it's not classified information, then share the chat with us. And there was all this humming and hawing, and well, eventually they shared the chat, and yes, there was very sensitive and classified information being shared in this chat.
Really?
And like this, the reporter, like when the reporter saw this information happening, like he saw it in real time, thought this is like they're baiting me. Like they're trying to find out if I'll blab or something. It didn't think it was real until he saw on the news the stuff happening that they had just talked about in the chat like 15 minutes earlier. And he was like, holy crap, this is actually happening right now. And so, he mentions it. He's like, yeah, I was part of the Signal chat. And yeah, like I said, the administration, who their record of being qualified for their job is,
but they are very technology forward because they've got the highest technology people there.
Oh man, and watching these idiots just try to lie their way through this, it's rough. It's rough. It's been a difficult couple months, to say the least, in this country.
Yeah, well, they can't figure out Signal. We can't figure out time zones in our Discord event. So,
hey, no. To be clear, so let's talk about that. Those events, those were set. Those have been set for like a year. I mean, like since we started doing the PHP podcast, I haven't changed them. So Discord is doing something wrong. That's all I'm saying. Like Discord, because we had the time shift.
Discord doesn't shift the recurring event. It's like, oh, you must have moved your podcast, not still doing it at 3:00 because the time changed.
Right. And what's awesome is they don't give you any way to update all the events. You have to update them apparently one at a time, because I just tried doing that. So yeah, no, our time hasn't changed. Still 3 p.m. Pacific time here in the US. I do realize that certain parts of the world, don't change their clocks the same time we do. That's why I say the Pacific time, because
And
that is weird.
some smart parts of the world don't change it at all. Just saying.
Why are we still doing this? I mean, really, why are we still changing clocks?
Derek says UTC use it. Yeah, but we'd still have the issue every 6 months.
Oh
I mean,
man,
I
it's
use
unbelievable.
I use a service for wind and just checking the skies if I want to go paragliding. And every 6 months, I have to go in there and change my offset. I have to go say, all right, now I'm minus 7 hours. Okay, now I'm minus 8 hours.
Oh,
and I have
that's
to
great.
and I have to manually do it otherwise I'm looking at bad data and all of a sudden I'm either in
I,
trouble or not.
I think what Derek was implying is announce the schedule based on UTC, not the minus. Just say it'll be this time UTC and let everybody else in the world figure out how that translates to them.
Right, but that means every 6 months we have to change our time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Is your kid on spring break yet? Is it spring break time?
No, it's a couple weeks away.
Okay, all right. That's the big ride, right?
It's not happening, so we'll move on from that.
Oh, okay. Just we've kind of been hyping this up for a while, John. God damn it.
It's been a blast riding with him and seeing him get stronger and I mean, we'll ride 10 miles to go get lunch. Like, he can do that now, and I never thought we would be able to do that. It's just he's done. He just doesn't want to do it, and it's gotten to a point where we have to say, okay, we're not doing it.
Oh man. All right. Well, we won't touch on that. That seems like a sense. But I tell you what, according to the tattoo on my arm, it's my kid's birthday today. So happy birthday to my kids.
Happy birthday.
Who are in DC currently.
Both of them, what are they doing over there?
They just doing their birthday thing. They wanted to go somewhere for their birthday. It was literally a bunch of different places over the past year, but what they settled on doing, I think I mentioned this before, although I had mentioned it backwards. They actually flew to Chicago, got on a train in Chicago, and took the train to DC. And so they're in DC right now, doing the museums. We're big DC. Obviously, I'm from the area, but my kids really took to DC and all the museums and the appreciation for the history and everything you can get there for free. Like, if you live in the States and you've never gone to Washington, DC, you're doing yourself a disservice, because it's probably the most you can do for the least amount of money in this country today, as far as all the museums and all the monuments and stuff go. It's fine. But then again, I'm kind of partial to it. So that's what they're doing. I'm jealous, but they're having I hope they're having a good time.
Sounds like a nice little trip.
Yeah. They fly home. And remember, they one lives in San Diego, one lives in San Francisco. So it's cool. They met in Chicago. They both flew out to Chicago and met in Chicago. So that was cool. And I guess the train was like over 24 hours. So they got a sleeper. They got little sleeper cars and stayed the night and spent the night on the train, which is cool.
That is.
Yeah. So, but besides that, how things been going for you? You and I have not spoken a lot the last couple of weeks. We've both kind of been buried into our own little disasters.
Yeah. I mean, do we want to talk about why we weren't here last week? I don't know. I don't know if you want to share any of that information. Just having client issues is what.
I'm fine sharing that. I was like thinking, like, okay,
no.
charges didn't stick. What's he talking about?
No. So last week I had a baseball game that I told Eric I need to move the time back, so we'd have to record a couple hours earlier. And last week was just terrible. being on the phone for days, literally
yeah.
working through some issues with a client's handheld application, legacy handheld application, which, oh my gosh, I can't believe the issues that we had on that.
Yeah, but we learned a few things, like the difference between Web SQL and SQLite.
Yeah. That was a fun one. I mean, I was on Zoom with you for a few hours dealing with that, and was like, well, there was an assumption about how the data was being handled, and as we got into it, it turns out Web SQL looks at the data and will make a determination. So if you put in a string 4, when you pull it back out, it's going to give you an integer. Like, you don't have to say this is an integer column. And that was the crux of the problem. Web SQL handled that. We were having trouble getting this legacy app up and running. So our new mobile developer decided, well, why don't we just switch to SQLite? And sure, why not? And then everything shit the bed. Like, everything went the hell in a handbasket there, because as we pulled stuff out, now it's a string, but the code is doing strict type matching on integers. And it took a while to figure out what was going on, because we're looking in there and all we're seeing is blobs. So we're like, oh, it's because it's blobs, let's change it to a string. Well, that wasn't the case. And we did a bunch of finagling trying to figure out what is supposed to be an integer column, what's not. And we finally got there.
We got there. Yeah. It definitely felt like one of these nightmare scenarios, because what kept happening is, again, the crutch of the problem was the switch between the databases. And that happened because Web SQL is no longer supported.
As far
as I know. Right.
Is that confirmed, or are we?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely confirmed in the browser. And again, this app is a capacitor app, which is basically a browser. So, but I never confirmed specifically with capacitor, but let's pretend that I did. So the switch felt like it was going to be necessary, because the original issue definitely was a data storage issue. Why all of a sudden the data storage issue stopped working when, like, the app hadn't been touched, and so technically, like, nothing should have changed, but for some reason the data storage was not working. So that definitely was the problem. But it was like, it just became this issue of, okay, I got it, I fixed it, I switched to back end, it's SQLite now, but everything, it seems to be working. And to our mobile developer's defense, I mean, this was his first time working on this legacy app, so he had no real understanding of all the different pieces of it. And it just became like every day new tickets were, well, we have this problem now. Well, this problem, this client's reporting this, and this client's reporting that. It's like, what the hell's happening? And it just took a while to, and like I think I shared with you, I probably bear a good amount of responsibility. I should have stepped in a lot sooner. Like, I just kept thinking, okay, it's handled. Maybe one or two things, need to be cleaned up, but it sounds like it's handled, because everything that was getting reported kind of felt like it was related. And then things started getting reported, and it's like, so this is the other thing. I don't think I even told you this, John. Then the other things started getting reported. It's like, wait a minute. That's not like a data issue. What the hell are you talking about? And one of the things that started happening was this duplication issue. And so we had been focused on the handheld app by this time for a solid couple of weeks, right? Kind of nursing it through. And so when we saw this duplication issue thing start to rear its ugly head, we're like, okay, what about the application is creating this duplication? And we're looking at the handheld, and it goes on for a while. And this is a capacitor app, so it's JavaScript. So I'm not completely out of my comfort zone. Like, I understand, a lot of the basic programming things, with JavaScript. I'm just not fluent in JavaScript, although I'm a lot better now today. So we're looking for loops and like, okay, where is this thing getting stuck in a loop? It turns out, just out of coincidence, that it wasn't a handheld issue. That piece, that one piece, this one duplication issue wasn't a issue with the handheld. It was an issue the backend team had made to the database in the application. And once and it wasn't even us. To our credit, our client said, "Well, I'm going to hand generate, see if I can hand generate this issue through the web interface, not the handheld interface, the web interface." And they did. They generated the exact problem. It's like, wait a minute, what the hell are you talking about? And so we got our backend team on it. Kaylin just kicked his ass. Like I just made mention to it to Kaylin. I'm like, hey, Kaylin, can you look at this? And like, half hour after he got on, he goes, oh yeah, I found it. Like, great, fix it, bastard.
Yeah. Well, once you can recreate it, it's usually easy to fix something.
That's always the hardest part.
For the most part. Yeah.
That's what I tell the client all the time. I'm like, I would rather have a problem with all the clients that we can duplicate than a problem with one client that nobody can seem to duplicate, because that one problem that nobody can duplicate is going to take us 4 times as long to troubleshoot
or more.
Because we have to figure out what the conditions are that are firing it. So yeah, it's been my poor wife, who has really become an understanding person with my journey into web development or development in general, and really has an appreciation. Like, she can tell when I'm not getting something fixed, and like there's something lingering over me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I gotta go to bed. It's gonna be another shit show tomorrow. I need to get up and start cracking on this stuff. And yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what would help?
What is that?
If I had better error monitoring on mobile apps, something like, I don't know, Honey Badger. That was pretty much my entire week right there. Just the red lights going off, and that was.
When your app breaks in production, you want to quickly understand and fix it, not sift through logs for the next hour. That's where Honey Badger comes in. Honey Badger notifies you of errors, outages, and performance issues as they occur, and helps you respond instantly when your systems go down. When you need to dig deeper, Honey Badger's advanced query engine helps you reach into your logs and grab just the information you need. With error tracking, performance and uptime monitoring, log management, and support for over 10 languages, Honey Badger is the best tool to gain real-time insights into your application's health and performance. Best of all, it's free to get started, and setup takes less than 5 minutes. Be sure to bookmark honeybadger.io. That's www.honeybadger.io. Thank you,
Honey Badger.
I'm sure I saw it before, but the dog digging in the ground because you're digging into the logs. That was good. I like it.
Yeah, a little time into it,
Yeah. So it actually worked out better for me as well that we didn't have a podcast last week, because I predicted it Wednesday night. I told everyone tomorrow might be a very shitty day. And of course, my prediction came true. So we use a very antiquated templating engine. And by default, it doesn't escape output. You have to, as you put in the little tag, you have to say, I want to escape this, or I don't want to escape it. And by default, it doesn't. And, we found a few places where XSS could happen. And instead of trying to fix those places and then, try to find everywhere else very manually, I was talking to somebody else, and he made the comment, because I wish we could do it by default like every other templating language does. I'm like, I bet I can make that happen. So I dug into the source code, single line change. I could easily say, if you're not already told what to do, then escape the output.
Oh, interesting.
And then we went through the QA process. Like we kept trying, we would find places where, this shouldn't be escaped. Like we're dumping JSON onto the page that shouldn't be escaped.
Yeah.
Stupid things like that. Or we're putting HTML into a variable to dump on the page. Don't escape that. So we spent a lot of time going and finding all of these places where we just have to say, hey, don't escape this. No big deal. Back and forth with QA. We feel like we've gone through everything. And of course, as soon as you put it live, it's like nothing works. Stupid things you don't think about. We use the templating engine in our emails. So all of a sudden the emails are coming through with raw HTML. It's like, that's not what we wanted. And just tons of other things that were just like broken here and there. So that was after 20 or 30 minutes, it's like, let's just revert it. That way we can stay calm, revert, try again. And that's what we ended up doing. So spent, the end of last week, early this week, just going through all those little edge cases, trying to clean them up. And then we decided, let's put a feature flag on this so it's not a whole code deploy, because while it was a single line, and I made that clear Wednesday night, if something goes wrong, comment out this line and redeploy. That's a 15 to 30 minute process.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, if we put a feature flag around it and we just went in the database and said, hey, disable this feature, it would have been, fixed real quick.
What do you guys use anything for your feature flag?
Homegrown stuff.
Homegrown stuff. I actually just shared. I'm looking for a Slack now. I just shared something in Slack recently about feature flags, and I can't find it now. There's a new service that came out specifically around feature flags, and then what does Laravel has a pennant or something?
Yeah.
In their stuff now, and I keep Flip it is what I found, and I keep wanting to take. So this is not a paid endorsement, but just so everybody knows what I'm talking about. Flip it, feature flags that fit your workflow, which I'm not really sure
how a paid service.
Right. How is a paid service actually doing this? I didn't play with it to know, to look into it, but yeah, it's like I keep telling myself we need to start leveraging feature flags, and I just haven't. Also, Laravel's is again pin. This is with most of our stuff being Laravel. I don't know why I haven't tried this. Maybe I'll try this on Tech TV, because I have some things I want to implement on Tech TV, but I haven't.
We don't use any package like that. Like I said, it's homegrown. It started out as we had features for different in a multi-tenant system. So like system A would have one feature, but not system B. Game. Well, it's not a system feature now. It's a subgroup feature, meaning some portion of the user base would have the feature and others wouldn't. And then it became a user feature. So turn it on and off for a single user.
Right.
Just the way it kind of all came about, it'd be really hard to throw something like this into it.
Yeah.
It's very grown. The other one was billing packages. So instead of being a subgroup of users, it's if you're a premium user, you get it, and if you're not, you don't. That type of thing.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, I need to. I really need to start doing that. I'm lazy.
That's because you never make any mistakes, and
there's that too. And I only have good ideas.
Yeah, it's only great ideas, and once it's written, it's golden. You don't have to turn it on and off.
I know that's like what happened. Matter of fact, speaking of the new mobile developer we have, he tried to blame one of my code bases. I'm like, whoa, dude, whoa, better watch it.
Do you know who you're talking to?
I don't have a lot of code bases I own in our company. You know, most of us don't. Like most of it is group efforts, but there's one code base specifically that is pretty much all me, and it's like, do not question this service. This is the one good service.
It's still one of my favorite stories from our user group.
What's that?
I was talking with a member of the user group, and I was like, that the problem when you fix problem A over here in the code and it breaks 5 things over here. And he stone cold looked at me, and I know he listens to the show. I'm sorry if you remember this story. I'm hoping you don't. He stone cold looks at me and is like, that's never happened to me. I'm like, then you haven't been developing long enough. He's like, no, that doesn't happen to me.
Just don't write bad code. It's like, wait, what the
Speaking of the user group, the San Diego PHP user group, we have finally found a host and are planning on having it April 8th. Our first one back. So we started it back up for a few months a couple years ago. Attendance didn't really arrive, so we put it back on the shelf. We're trying it again. Trying it downtown San Diego. I think we have a fair number of attendees planning on being out there. As long as Eric doesn't screw up our relationship with the host.
Oh, we're going there. We're going there? Okay. 13. Yeah.
Not bad. I mean, for a last minute, like, hey, this is happening in 2 weeks if you can make it.
Yeah, exactly. Did you realize user groups are rated? And somebody gave 5. We got 5 people that gave us a 3. What the hell? I want names. Oh yeah, okay, Meetup. I see how you are. Share the names, Meetup. Come on.
I thought we weren't showing negatives anymore. We only show positives.
Yeah.
Good old
event
YouTube.
Sourcing. Look at all these event sourcing ones. Yeah, we need a talk, man. You can, I guess, do your event sourcing one. You gotta have that one, right? That's still pretty recent. You just gave that one at Cascadia.
I know, but it was not great.
Yeah. Well. Wasn't gonna say it, but since you bring it up, nah, I think it's fine. Yeah, I don't know, we figure something out.
Yeah.
I think, and we are trying to take on the PHP X name. So if you're not familiar, being developers that we are in the PHP world, we're standardizing on our user group names finally. So there's, is it PHPX.world?
Yeah.
The PHPX.world has a lot of local user groups now with under the PHPX naming convention. So it's exciting. I think it's a good idea. I think it's kind of cool. Although I still like our SDPHP name better, but it's got history with me. So I'm trying to convert. I'm trying to embrace it. But yeah.
How's that working out for you?
It doesn't look as good, right? It just doesn't look as good.
Man, that is an old picture of me. I gotta update that. No.
Yeah.
Profile picture.
Yeah. I've been going through updating a lot of my profile pictures lately. Gotta get some done. So figured it was time to, because the one I had was me playing baseball like 20 years ago, and it's just my face. So I mean, I can't look any better. So I mean, whatever. But yeah, I've been slowly replacing my avatars that's like replacing the name, our PHP Architect branding. So if you're not familiar, we've been converting. Matter of fact, I think if we go over to phptech.io, yeah. So PHP Architect used to have like this branding with the braces. It's PHP Brace Architect or PHP Brace Tech Brace
Podcast, all the other
magazines. we like the branding. The problem is with the adoption of Markdown, this sort of lettering, like this, just plays havoc with everything. Like every freaking thing tries to do something with this Markdown piece.
It's either something thinks it's templating and it needs to pull it out and replace it with something, or Markdown thinks it's a link and it's broken, or you try to put that within a link and now your brackets are all messed up.
And search engines don't like it. It's just a pain in the ass. So we've been slowly moving over to this, PHP Space Tech and PHP Space Architect, and it's great until I start the podcast and I realize, God damn, I got to update these images now. Like every time I turn my head, I have another logo or something I need to update.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been a nonstop effort, I feel like. But we're getting there. We're slowly getting there. I think I got most of the website actually addressed. Like little things like our logo itself, which of course I don't have any showing here, but the logos have been changing. The PHP Tech one for 2025 was already established. Same with the elephant that we had created. So we had already established it. So we're like, okay, we're going to let those logos continue, but everywhere else I've been trying to swap it out. Like you see over here on this one, I got this image, but yep, it's been fun.
Yeah, don't look in the very bottom right of your screen where it's PHP Architect, the little bug down there.
Huh?
The bottom right of our screen of our within reach.
God,
just another one.
You see, this is still happening, right?
What is
this here? This. What is this?
Oh, I fixed that. It's happening again. For some reason, we keep getting on a blacklist that MailChimp is using.
Oh, really? I can't imagine why that's happening, John. That doesn't make sense.
But it's like, oh, just wait 24 hours, and then I got to go reset the key, or the bearer token that I'm getting through the single sign-on. Maybe it's limited time, and maybe every day I just got to come in and log into MailChimp.
Actually, it actually might just be my browser. Let me fire it up in Safari. Nope. Yeah, that is all my browsers. Like I have plugins, but yeah, everywhere I'm looking, it's not working. I don't know.
No, it's not.
Okay. Yeah, it's broken.
Again. We got to get our new set up and running.
Yes, I know. I've kind of stalled on that. I mean, it was making such good progress, and I stalled on it a little bit.
Well, we don't have anything important coming up in the next less than 2 months that we have to worry about, do we?
Should we share our new secret weapon? Are we willing to disclose our new secret weapon?
What's the new secret? Oh, yeah, I was gonna bring that up too. Go for it.
Yeah, bring it up. I so it's funny. I'm gonna say, you always think you're doing a good enough job. It's like, this is hard, but we're doing the best we can, and I just feel like we're just about there. And then you bring in another resource with like little experience in the field, and they blow you out of the water. And that's kind of like how I've been feeling the last couple of days. It's like, so you share, because I don't want to overshare.
I mean, we've talked about it a few weeks ago. Eric and I both still develop on a daily basis. We're running a company, running a conference, running a magazine, and coding, like
podcasting.
Yeah, it's just nonstop. So we decided to hire a salesperson, someone specifically meant to just be on the phone, call companies, find us sponsors for the conference. Hopefully, once that's passed, find us advertisers for the magazine. Like, be a salesperson. But we don't have a sales role. We don't know how to hire for that. So we put it out on LinkedIn and found somebody. And we let her know up front, this is a part-time role. We have a small budget. And so this may only last a month or so, but let's see what you can do. And I think within the first day, she started getting like, I mean, there's been no bites yet, but little nibbles on things where she's actually getting a foot in the door, getting somebody to talk to her. Where, I mean, the number of emails I've sent out, the number of LinkedIn messages I've sent out, I've gotten fewer responses than she's gotten in just a day or two.
24 hours. Yeah.
So hopefully
something, man.
I know the sponsor section on our website looks bare. Like there's only a couple. We have, I think, 2 confirmed that I'm waiting on assets for that have paid. I've got 3, I think, that have agreed. We're just waiting for payment and assets to get them up on the site. So things are turning around. Just need to get everything finalized.
I mean, the ones that I'm fine sharing the ones that have paid. Yeah. I have one on here. I don't know.
Oh, vehicle is one.
Yeah.
Schemer says the page looks fine. Yeah, it's because I went and fixed it live. The little white box is fixed.
Oh, did you fix it?
I literally had to log in and say reconnect. I clicked it once and it worked.
Hey, look at that! It's working. Sign up for a newsletter, which we have been trying to get out. Oh, look at that! We need to update PHP Architect there. Fantastic.
Of course we do. As far as additional sponsors, again, Rove is going to be there.
Rove, yep.
So waiting on their information. I emailed her again yesterday, I believe, trying to get logos and stuff to put up on the site.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that's the only other one that hasn't paid yet. And then we got 2 more. One that says they're in, like this is what we want. So I sent an invoice off. It's just not paid. And then another one that like is a 90+% chance of coming through, saying that they want to be in as well. So
yes, I'm very excited to talk about some of them when we get permission to publish. But yeah, it's we got some things coming together, but we could definitely use more for sure.
Yeah, still in the red, but coming closer to break even.
Dude, the freaking date is just coming so quickly. It's crazy.
What are we at? 54 days to go.
I say it's got to be 50. Yeah, 54 makes sense. Yeah, and then like, and so this is how we have to think in this world, which is infuriating, but it's life. The magazine that we're getting ready to well, actually, the magazine we need to release still for March, I guess, but
right.
the next month's magazine, April's magazine, will be the printed magazine we give out at the conference. So where we already started pushing all the contributors, say, hey, make sure you get your articles in. Everybody's done a pretty great job at getting the articles in, because we've got to get it laid out, published, then printed, and then sent to the
Chicago.
conference. So,
yeah.
So it's just like, already we're starting to think of like if you want to sponsor the conference, if you want to be a sponsor at the conference and you want your logo on the material, we really need to wrap things up fairly quickly here, because we need some lead time to get all this stuff printed. But it's just I can't, man. I don't know why we do this to ourselves every year. I really don't.
I forgot to even say, hey, we need this for that magazine. So
yeah, it's a lot of work, man. A lot of work. But hey, you're going to be joining me in Denver this year, no less. How cool is that going to be?
I am. Oh, that's the other one we can put up there, can't we? That's done.
That is done. That is true. Yes, Laravel is a sponsor. They haven't actually given us their assets, but yeah, Laravel is a bronze sponsor of PHP Tech.
Right, but we've come to an agreement and it's done. So that's all I meant.
Yeah. So excited about that.
Put them on our little list I have over here. as a reminder, like, hey, we got to go do this.
Yeah. So John, this will be your second Laracon?
My second one, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You actually went to one of the crappier ones, man. You went to that one in New York.
I picked the one bad one.
Yeah, yeah. It was. I mean, it was like this breaking point where the Laracons had gotten so big and so crowded, and the venues, they always do these cool venues, but the venues in New York were just like cramped. This one in New York where we were at was just so cramped, and that's like most of the times they're not. Like most of the Laracons, they're not cramped at all. But the one in New York was really kind of sucked. And of course, that was the one John was at, and it was just like, it wasn't the best one to be at. But none of them are actually as good as PHP Tech, for the record. No, I shouldn't say that, but I will. But I won't.
You have to say that. What are you talking about? You're not going to say that.
Yeah.
I'm still a huge fan of the 3 tracks. Like,
oh yeah, me too.
I want to be able to choose what I'm going to see, and if I don't want to see anything, I want to hang out with people out in the conference track or in the hallway track and just
yeah. I was getting pretty grumpy about Laracons until I finally, came to the realization that it's not a community conference like PHP Tech. It's a product conference, which is what it is, right? It's Laravel's conference about Laravel things. And so once I kind of got in that mindset, I even say it's like I don't know how much I get out of Laracon from a conference perspective, just because of the simple fact that Laravel is so established in the environments that we work on it that nothing's going to happen at Laracon that I'm going to implement. Like, I don't think the last time that happened was Livewire. When I saw Livewire, I'm like, I have an immediate need for that. I'm going to implement that today. But with the exception of that, like, nothing happens at Laracon that I'm like, it's good information. It's like, okay, I can see the benefit of using that. But it's just like the environments are so established, the applications are so established. It's like, okay, we gotta let this thing cook for a while. We gotta let it be in the wild for a while. Then we'll slowly start to introduce it into our code bases, and it's like more of a process now. So, I mean, for me, it's just Laracons are just like seeing people, like, oh hey, all my friends and stuff that I only see at Laracon. But yeah, PHP Tech.
They don't like you enough to come to Tech. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they won't come to Tech. I have to go to them. But yeah, it's and yeah, like you said, the 3 track thing. It's like with the single tracks. Like, if you're not interested, you're kind of like, okay, I'm gonna just go do something and miss out for like an hour or two. But like with the 3 tracks, it seems like there's always a track. Like, there's always a track of something that's of interest to go watch, So, yep, it's good stuff. Conferences, man, in-person conferences are happening again. Meetups are happening again. It's like feels like it's starting to get back to the way it used to be. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how our meetup goes. But I know PHPX, they've been having a lot of people have been having successes with in-person conferences again. I see New York all the time.
You mean user groups?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I keep saying conferences. Yeah, user groups. Yeah.
I'm excited. I recognize a couple of the names that, used to come to the meetup, and they're coming back, and then some new people.
Mm-hmm.
There was some great conversation in Discord earlier today. Did you get a chance to look through any of that?
No, I haven't, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay, that's it. You can move on. Just kidding. No, the 2025 PHP Landscape Report came out from Perforce, basically Zend.
Perforce, yeah.
And some interesting information in here. The big thing that stood out to me was around the security and how, such a high percentage of people think their app is secure. and that number is higher amongst C-level employees. So your C-suite thinks your app is secure, even though a lot of companies are still running PHP 7.
Why is extremely confident even an option? Like, who the hell actually thinks their application is extremely confident that their application is secure? I would never be. I don't even think I'd be very confident. Like, I want to be very confident, but I'm.
So now that you say that, and I'm thinking more about the report, if you scroll down to hosting options, I think it was over 60% of people self-host. And I don't know if that means internal, like it's just an internal application that isn't exposed to the web.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, I would say it's secure unless you're worried about internal hacks from your employees, which you should be. But if I'm hosting it behind a firewall for internal purposes only, I'd probably call it secure. Like,
yeah. I'm looking for the hosting piece. I might have scrolled past it already. Okay, these are the numbers I always look at. That. Wow, 8.3 adoption. Oh, top migration testing. Wait. Maybe I'm reading.
So if you upgraded from 7, where did you go to? And people are going from 7.4 to 8.3. They're not going 7.4 to 8 to 8.1.
What's the
that seems like a weird question to ask, actually.
That is an odd question. Okay, which PHP versions did you migrate off of? I'm trying to see like where people are.
Yeah, I don't recall.
It's always interesting to see these surveys. I do enjoy them, but sometimes I wonder, it's like, what are you thinking about here? Like, yeah, I don't know. How many hours per week?
There's PHP version adoption. So page 27.
27?
Yeah.
Back. Two. I know how to count. 27 version of. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. I mean, that's version adoption. It doesn't really say what version people are running on, but yeah, these are fun. I love these. Oh, here we go. What version of PHP does your application use? Okay, this is what I wanted to see. Look at that. 63%. Or 64% really on 8.3. Wow. Wait a minute. Why aren't these numbers making sense to me? We got 64 on 8.3 and 56.
It must have been a multi checkbox. Like, hey, I have a 8.3 application and I have a 7.4 application. I hate that.
But that's not how percentages work, John. I don't understand. I don't make it make sense. I don't get it. All right.
I mean, it somewhat makes sense. You put 100 people in, 38 of them have a 7.4 application, and 64 of them have 8.3, but some of those have one of each, right? It's dumb. I agree. It's not a good way to ask questions, but
just look at the pretty colors. Don't look at the numbers. Look at the colors.
But still, 64% of the respondents say they have an application using PHP 8.3.
Oh, well. Am I still in frame?
Yep.
It's doing that thing again, John.
Is it? Weird.
Yeah. No. It doesn't look like I'm in frame.
We would be bad at taking this because we have applications out there probably anywhere from 7.3, probably every version from 7.3 to 8.3.
Yeah.
Just because we have servers that are like, it's running, I don't touch it. Just let it go.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's not even like you're afraid to touch it. It's just like there's no reason to mess with it. It's just out there, especially like APIs, right? Like APIs, like whatever, man. It's an API. Who cares? Just let it run. I mean, obviously there's security concerns, but
yeah.
Um,
Pretty much it.
where are we at on time? Oh yeah, running out. One other topic to touch on for any of those people who may be interested is we talked about Laravel Cloud, right? That's what we call
Yeah.
it, Laravel Cloud. They just, if you know, you know. If you understand, you understand. Apparently, they just achieved SOC 2 Type 1 compliance, which is kind of a big deal. I mean, it's not like an impossible thing to achieve, but it's an important thing to achieve, especially if you're doing um, merchant sort of stuff online, and it's kind of important. I mean,
Yeah.
if you know,
I,
you know.
I have to deal with that for one of our clients.
Yeah,
They're SOC 2 compliant, and it's a pain in the butt, especially when they say
mhm,
all employees have to be running this agent on their computer.
yeah,
And a bunch of us are contractors, and we're like, but this isn't your computer.
right.
And then they're like, okay, we will make exceptions for contractors because we cannot enforce this.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like when we're always being asked like, oh yeah, uh, you know, are you using Windows Defender? I'm like, are you serious? These are servers. No, we're not using Windows Defender. It's like it's not saying it's not a thing, but it's not a thing in our environment. Like we don't use Windows
but
boxes. So
but that compliance goes beyond your server. It's anyone that
Mhm.
connects within the environment. So it's all your
That's the thing.
employees. It's
Yep.
it's a
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah. It's and
And if you
it's
know, you know.
yeah. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, it's just, it gets frustrating because so I'll give you a little history. One of my biggest gripes. I'm fine working with groups to uh, get resolutions. So when I worked in the enterprise, this is a big company that pretty much anybody. If you looked at my LinkedIn, you'd figure out what company it is. But they had a security group, specific security group, where all they did was monitor like the latest, alerts and notifications. And of course, they got all the tools that would do all the scans and generate the reports. And they would scan my environment and said, okay, you have these issues. I'm like, well, these are false positives. Well, you got to fix it. I'm like, well, maybe you don't understand what the word false positive means. No, we don't have to fix it. It's not a fixable thing. But occasionally they would hit me with something where I'm like, okay, I don't understand what this is. How do I fix it? They're like, I don't know. You got to figure that out. It's like, no, you're the security expert. You're the one that's telling me I'm out of compliance because of this issue. I'm telling you I don't know what this issue is or how to fix it. So you tell me what the issue means.
Mm.
And it's like they didn't know. They knew how to use the tools, but they didn't understand the reports that were being generated. And which, if it was my manager coming to me, I would be tolerant of. But when it's the security team coming to me, it's like, this is your fucking job. It's like, you're the security expert. You're the one that gets to go to Black Hat. You tell me what this means because I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what it is. It used to drive me crazy, man. It
Couldn't
just
tell.
drove me.
Couldn't tell.
Oh man.
It sounds like just thinking about it rouse you up again.
There's two things in my experience of the enterprise that I have not come to a sense of peace with dealing with. That being one, and the other one, oh my god, I will lose my shit over this to this day. So I was the open source guy, right? Like I said, my big accomplishment at the time was introducing Linux and Apache into my little environment that I ran and showing them the benefits of it. So I kept going to our CTO saying, hey, we should look at adopting open source. We should really look at having a group that specializes in open source. And of course, I was like angling to be that group. Like I wanted to have my own team of people who look for open source solutions to run in the enterprise, because that was like a thing back then. Like nobody really thought about doing open source, adopting open source to that level in the enterprise. And I just, I kept hammering on it. Well, eventually the marketing team had a need. I'm like, well, there's this open source project out there called WordPress. And if you want to use this, you can use this. And it'll be a blog for you because you guys want a blog, you want marketing and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, we'll do that. We'll do WordPress. I'm like, okay, here's the project, get some developers, pay attention to the project. And, there's really not a whole lot of work you need to do. You just need to implement it and watch, for patches and stuff. And of course they implement it, and like 5 years go by. And initially it was like this big deal. Like they got this thing implemented in under a month. It cost them next to nothing to implement, even though there were like support contracts you could do for open source. But then of course the conversation became, well, why should we pay for support if it's free here? I'm like, well, because you're still enterprise, you still want support, you still want somebody's throat to choke, as we always say in the enterprise. So, but no, they didn't want to do that. So at first it was this raging success, and they start talking about using it more and blah, blah, but that chatter dies out and I forget about it. A couple of years go by, the site gets compromised. And so of course they call me in. I'm like, oh yeah, it's been compromised. Let's fix this. And of course, the security team wants to do all this for forensics, and we got to snapshot everything and all this other stuff. And I'm sitting in the office with the CTO, and the manager of the marketing group comes in and goes, "This is the problem with open source. This is why we shouldn't be using it." And I looked at her, and she's like, the manager's like, or the CTO is like, well, she has a point. I'm like, no, she does. The compromise was patched 2 years ago. Like they haven't put any patches to this system since they implemented it. So for 3 years, they have not patched the system. What they got compromised on has already been identified, has already been fixed. They just never bothered to implement the fix. And I just lost my shit on this topic. And of course, they looked at me like I was the crazy one. I'm like, what are you guys not getting here? Like, I could not get to that. Okay, I'm just going to let this go. Like, I could not get to that point, and I still can't. I still can't let that go. It drives me nuts to this day. I tell you, man. I decided that day I'm like starting my own company. That's the only way I'm going to be happy.
I'm not telling what to do. While we were moving on and talking about topics, I realized I brought up the Perforce Zen's PHP landscape report, and I said there was some great chatter in Discord. Within this report, there's a little blurb that Zen wants to bring back their certification process, and there was this whole back and forth in Discord around that. And I know we had kind of talked about doing a certification program a while back. It feels like it would be so much work if you're going to do it right.
Right. Yeah, that was my thing.
Especially when they're like a couple of people talking where like you either need to go to a venue where you have no access to like the AI tools, to cheat on the test, or you have to have some sort of way to monitor when the test is being taken, which sounds ridiculous. So yeah, I don't want to get into that, but that is out there. And, I've always been down on certifications only because I did the Microsoft thing way back in the day, and I was like, okay, I got the certification, but now I don't remember any of the crap I did. I just studied it to take a test. And same thing with school, right? I studied just enough, took the test, and then immediately forgot half of what I learned. But there was a video shared on LinkedIn that I happened to see today about why is it so hard for someone to find a job today when you hear all in the news how there's hundreds of thousands of jobs out there waiting for people to take them. Like there's a worker shortage and it's all over the place. And the video went into back in the day, if you wanted to find good talent, you were kind of restricted geographically. Geographically, like you hired from within your area. That's how you found people. You went to the local colleges and you're, getting those people. Nowadays, people that are hiring are getting bombarded with hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of applications. And so you have to send out so many just to even to have the possibility of getting a callback or an interview.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's going to be AI tools that those people are going to use to sift through your resume and try and bubble up the top people. And again, 99% of the resumes that get to whoever are not going to be looked at. So how do you stand apart? So a certification may be that case. Like if that's on your CV, maybe that will bubble up because of the AI tool saying, hey, you should look at this person and not that person.
I'll say to this day, the only reason I was able to get into this industry, because I've had a lot of very different jobs. I'm a man with a history of work, and the only way I got into the position I got into was because of a certification. I mean, back then it was the Microsoft certification, and it was system operations. But I took the advice of somebody, and they're like, hey, if you're really interested in getting into this sort of work, which I really wanted to be a programmer back then. I was doing it all through my childhood, and of course, not to talk about how old I am, but it was before the internet was a thing. Mm-hmm. And I remember how frustrated I was in college taking computer science because I just wasn't happy with what I was being taught or in the process of development. I'm like, I thought this was something I wanted to do, but maybe not now. And of course the internet hits and our whole industry just kind of booms, and what development was changed. Like you didn't have to pile stuff anymore. But getting off track.
JMax PHP 5 certified.
Is he really? I know he's talking about the hat. So see, JMac triggered me too. He's saying, hey, look at those hats. I'm like, yeah, look at these hats. The wrong freaking logo on them. The PHP, it has the brackets on them. We just talked about this, JMac. Don't trigger me, man. Don't trigger me. But yeah. Laravel certified. Let's go. Hey, wait, what? Joe, are you Laravel certified? That's interesting.
We didn't look at your resume when you sent it in. Yeah. AI filtered you somehow and you made it. Congrats.
Exactly. So yeah, especially if you're looking to get started. I mean, I'm definitely on board with the certification process. I will just warn you though, don't overstate your how good you are because you're certified. it only carries so much weight, but it's definitely a good way to just let the industry know you're serious about what you're working on. Mm-hmm. So
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Joe is the Laravel certified. I don't know why we don't have him doing development work, but his previous employer said, hey, keep him away from code. I'm like, all right. I'm kidding, Joe. That didn't happen. All right, you got anything else, John, to talk about?
No, the last thing on my list we can talk about next week.
All right, cool. Okay, that's going to do it. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Sorry we missed last week. I'm not going to promise you it won't happen again, but, I think that's it. If you're not subscribed to the magazine, subscribe to the podcast, the YouTube channel, subscribe to all the things, especially YouTube. Come on. It doesn't even cost you anything to subscribe to YouTube. Just do it. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
This has been PHP Podcast, the official podcast of PHP Architect, the industry's leading tech magazine and publisher, focused on PHP and web development. Subscribe today at phparch.com to see what the leaders in the community and industry are talking about.